Recording. Okay, so today is Saturday, the 10th July 2021. My name is Angela Achieng. I am the host and I'm also a founder, one of the founders of Sharia Clinic. My colleague will be in a short while. He's known as Roger. So both of us came up with Sharia Clinic and we have kindly mute if you're the one speaking, and we have a YouTube channel. So Sharia Clinic basically is an online legal aid platform, and we share legal knowledge with the public through our YouTube channel. So you can go to YouTube and check us out. You'll find videos on public participation, videos on data protection, and now this one will also be up as soon as we are done with the presentation. And so I've introduced myself. I will introduce my co-founder who will be joining me shortly. So I want to introduce the speaker of the day, the presenter of the day. His name is Joseph Gichuka. He is a youth leader in Nyandarua County. He's a third-year law student in JKUAT Karen campus. He's an active member of the Mutin Club in JKUAT Karen. He's also a student law journal member. So they write journals, and he's a member of that body in JKUAT Karen. So karibu sana, Mr. Joseph Gichuka, and you have the next, it's now 8:04. So I will stop you at around 8:20 or 8:25. So you can now present. This is now your time. Thank you. Let me mute. You can start.
Okay. Hoping you can hear me. Okay, thank you. My name is Joseph Gichuka, and I'm a third-year law student JKUAT Karen campus. And I'm grateful to invite you to this legal discourse. And I do believe it will be a good learning experience for all of us. We normally say each and every day is a learning day, and we get new experiences. Today, we are going to delve into the issue of constitutional amendment. And before delving into that, Margaret Ogola said that you cannot know where you are going unless you know where you come from. I want just to briefly state where we've come from as a country. We know very many people have fought for a new constitution in the country since 1963, when we had the old constitution, the first constitution of the colonizers. And I'll start from where a majority of us can easily remember, especially those who are still doing law. That is in 2005, when we had an attempt to have a new constitution in the country in a referendum that flopped, that was informed by the work or draft. Then after that, we came in 2007 when we had disputed elections that culminated to post-election violence, which claimed scores of lives in the country. Therefore, necessitating that as a country, we sit down and forge the way forward. Kofi Annan arrived in the country, held several meetings that culminated to formation of the Grand Coalition. Then the Grand Coalition had several issues to grapple with to ensure that the country will not fall back into such a situation again. One of them was to come up with a new constitution to guide the country in the manner in which going forward we are going to do and carry out our business as a nation. This led to establishment of a commission, Constitutional Amendment Commission, which went around the country collecting views, and therefore coming up with several provisions that as a nation, they felt need to be incorporated in the new constitution. Therefore, the constitution was promulgated, and that is how we came to where we are, the 2010 constitution. And I want to point out this from the onset, that a constitution is not merely a set of rules or regulations. It is a reflection of the inspiration of the people. It's a reflection of their past. It's a reflection of their fears. And it is also aspirational in nature, that this is the manner in which we as a nation, we project going forward, the manner in which we are supposed to be ruled. And it is aspirational in this manner. It is reflected in Article 43 of the Constitution, which is to the effect that the socio-economic rights are to be progressively realized. So it is aspirational. It also reflects our past and our present. So without much ado, I want to point out a number of salient constitutional provisions before going to the germane issue of constitutional amendment. The salient issues, or the most important issues, not trying to insinuate that the other constitutional provisions are not important. Among them is Article 1, which is the sovereignty of the people. The people are sovereign, and they are sovereign by the virtue that indeed they are the ones who came up with this constitution, and they are the only who can amend it through popular initiative, save for parliamentary initiative envisaged in Article 256 of the Constitution. The other salient issue is Article 10, values and principles that guide this country. It's also another very important constitutional provision. And even before I delve into other salient issues, I want to point out that our constitution has been dubbed as the most progressive constitution in the world. So from the start of it, we as a country are supposed to be very proud of our constitution and protect it as envisaged in the constitution in Article 22, and also in the general provisions, Article 258, on the protection of the constitution, that any person who feels that this constitution is threatened with the contravention can apply to court and order the stop of such a violation. The other salient issue is about devolution. Devolution with its object to take leadership and resources back to the people in an effort to back up the first article, which is the sovereignty of the people. Another salient issue is please mute your mics, please. Another salient issue is regard to human rights. The article of human rights is the chapter of article. The chapter of human rights is the biggest chapter in the Constitution, which means that our Constitution lays emphasis on human rights, which is a very important aspect in our Constitution, because it is mostly envisaged to protect its citizens, to protect the people, and provide remedies when their rights are violated or they are threatened with violation. I want now to humbly request you that we delved into the question of a constitutional amendment. And to start with, the Constitution itself has provided mechanisms in which it is supposed to be amended. I want to point out from the onset that our constitution has provided a mechanism in which it is supposed to be amended. Therefore, no authority, doctrine, or philosophy that is supposed to inform the constitution, since it has provided explicit provisions in regard to the manner in which it is supposed to be amended. For purposes of clarity and particularity, the Constitution in Article 255 provides a manner, and it states that this Constitution shall be amended in accordance with Article 256 and 257. Article 256 is on a parliamentary initiative. Article 257 is on a popular initiative. Therefore, our constitution has already given us a manner in which it is supposed to be amended, and the first one being the parliamentary initiative. Parliament can amend. Hello, there is a person whose mic is not muted. Please mute so that we be at par. I'm submitting that Article 256, which is to the effect that Parliament, the parliamentary mode of amendment of our constitution, it provides that Parliament can amend this constitution to a certain limit. This is to prevent parliamentary absoluteness. And this is a question which the world has grappled with for quite a long time, with a case study being India. In India, we had the parliament doing some constitutional amendment to favor those at the higher echelon in leadership. Therefore, they came up with a basic structure doctrine, which was to the effect that there are some provisions which are unamendable to protect its citizens. I find it important to point out that even in our country, this can merely be interpreted as a basic structure doctrine when it comes to preventing Parliament from making amendments which include the term of the president, the territory of our country, and other provisions which are a reserve of the popular initiative of our country. But I want to point out, for purposes of clarity and particularity and for emphasis purposes, that I really feel that this doctrine, this basic structure doctrine, should not be applicable in the popular initiative, simply because it asserts the very power of the people who enacted and promulgated this constitution to guide them. Therefore, if one purports that there is a basic structure doctrine that even the people, the very people who came up with this constitution cannot amend, then that is putting the constitution higher than the people, therefore negating the very provision of Article 1, which is to the effect that the people are sovereign. It is not lost on me that the constitution is also supreme, but introducing the basic structure doctrine in a popular initiative would mean that the people are inferior to the constitution, which should not be the case.